Hello everybody. Today we're going to do a presentation on Panopto. Panopto is our new video platform that we'll be using at the college. It'll take the place of Kaltura. And your video platform definition, if I was going to say what a video platform is, it would be a cloud storage facility for all of your video and audio content. And so Panopto will be the new place where you'll be able to place your videos that you record from either your lecture capture, Zoom, from within the application, Panopto itself, or maybe you want to import a video from, say, the One Button Studio, or you've got something on your phone or something like that. You can put all those types of videos inside of the Panopto library. And today we'll just show you a brief demonstration how to best use Panopto in Canvas at SCC. Just a heads up, I'm probably going to turn off my camera for the remainder of the video. And we will just see the PowerPoint slides and my annotation layer. So you may be asking yourself, where can I find this Panopto at? Well, it's located in your Canvas course, and probably by default it won't be listed in your navigation section. And what you'll have to do is enable it from your navigation section. So in order to do that, you'll click on Settings, and the Settings button will open up a new window in the main part where it says Create a New Module. When you click on Settings, after that you'll see this page here, and I'll just let you guys know ahead of time that I resized this page so that I could see everything from top to bottom. The page will more likely be something that you'll have to scroll through in order to accomplish what you're trying to achieve, which is adding Panopto video to your navigation bar. So after you click on Settings, you'll go to your Navigation tab up at the top here, and Panopto video will be listed in the items in the bottom section. So you can either drag and drop the Panopto video, or if you want, you can click on these three dots right here and you can choose Enable. After you've done that, just click Save at the bottom and you are good to go. Once we've done that, now we can see that Panopto video shows up in our navigation bar, and we can proceed on to the next step. So let's walk through how to add content using Panopto. Just an FYI, you can pretty much add content from Panopto anywhere, from using either pages or announcements, discussions, basically anywhere you see the rich content editor. When you see the rich content editor, what you'll want to do is look for the plugins icon, and you'll search for the word Panopto, and I'll show you how to do that next. So I've clicked on the plugins icon. It brought up the choices, and I searched for Panopto, and when I did that, I have one choice, the Panopto video option. The other way of doing it is just clicking on the plugins icon and then seeing that default list of the major plugins that we use. You can scroll down and find Panopto video in the list and click on it that way. After that, a little pop-up window will show up, and you'll have three choices. Three ways that you can choose to add videos. If you've previously added videos to your library, they'll show up here. They'll be listed sort of like this. I don't have any examples in this particular screenshot, but if I did, I could choose one of those by choosing on the little selection circle right there, something like that, and I would select that way. If I wanted to, I could also upload a video. If, for example, you created a video in the One Button Studio, or perhaps you wanted to grab a video off of your N drive or O drive, you could do it this way through the Upload Video section. You can drag and drop it, or you can search through your folders and grab it. The third way of adding content into Panopto would be to use the recorder. You have two options to record videos directly from the Record tab. You can use the browser-based version, or you can use the Panopto app. If you wanted to use the browser-based version of Panopto Video, you could click on this little Launch Capture icon. If you didn't want to use that one and you wanted to use the application version, if you've never installed it before, more than likely you'll have to download it first. But if you have installed it, then you can just launch the app that way. That was a really bad circle. Well, what's the difference between the two? Why do I get choices, Chris? Well, there's options in Panopto, and kind of tells you what the options are and which product can do what in this slide. I'd also like to point out that this slide is also available in the orientation page for within the Panopto pages. After I've clicked on the Launch Capture button, I'm taken to a new tab where I'll be prompted to allow a couple different things. One of them is your microphone, and the other one's going to be your camera. So that's visible up here in the top corner. It might be in a different spot if you're using a different browser, but you'll still want to allow both of those, whether it's in Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari. When you're ready to record, you just click the red circle and you are off and running. Okay, so I wanted to get a screenshot of this because I talked about this just a little bit briefly on the differences between the browsers. So again, in Firefox, it's over here on the left-hand side, and there's these little drop-down arrows that give you the options between your choices. So what I did in order to see this pop-up menu is I clicked on Screens and Apps over here, and then it prompted that to show up, this thing, and that's kind of a big arrow, so I'm going to get rid of that one and continue on here. So I've got different drop-down options. Those options look different in Firefox compared to Edge. So Edge, those, instead of it being a drop-down menu, it's these 3 tab options up here. In Chrome, it's the same thing. You've got tabs, probably because Chrome and Edge are built on Chromium, built on the same platform. So just be aware of that. If you are looking for your different windows that you want to record, you might have to poke around a little bit on how to find them. Another thing that I do want to point out is if you are planning on capturing audio from whatever window or device that you're recording, make sure that you've got your Share Audio selected. A little checkbox there will do the trick. With Panopto Capture, you get a little countdown timer. It's 5 seconds. After the 5-second window, you are off and running. And you are recording. And you can click the record button to stop the recording. Once you're done recording, you're taken to this end screen, and you can see right off the top, this is telling you that it's getting ready. Getting your video ready for editing, and you can fill all this out and then close it after you're done. This sort of remembers everything that you do live. So if you want, you can just watch it again. If you don't like that version that you just did, you can redo it. You could go on and do your next video if you wanted to and record another session. This is where you would name it. If you didn't want to rename it, it will put in the timestamp of when the recording happened. Just below that is the folder options. You can place videos in different folders. By default, it's going to place it in the folder that's associated with the class in the plugins that you opened. The plugin button will locate the class. I said that backwards, but you get the idea. So I would say for the most part, you can probably avoid touching that unless you're planning on moving it, which is another video. We'll show you how to copy and paste. This little button will take you directly to the website. You can add descriptions and stuff in here, and even tags if you have videos. You can edit your video as well, maybe clip and trim the video. If you wanted to email the video, you could do that directly. And there are different access ways that people can, within the organization, or I don't think we gave permission to instructors to give videos outside of the organization, but you should be able to swap videos around through this manage access button and then clicking on send when you're ready. Just wanted to point out that this screen, you're going to have to X out of it or tab out of it. This doesn't close on its own, so I just wanted to point that out. Once you've done that, though, you'll be taken back to your little pop-up window that shows where you left off, and you'll be prompted to basically wait at that point. Depending on how long your video is and how long it takes to record, will be how long you see this screen. So it's telling you, hey, your video will appear here after it's done recording. You'll get this little video is going to be ready shortly kind of thing. If you wanted to at that point, you could start over. Or you could eventually wait to see the finished product and go from there. Below that, and I've already got it expanded, but there's this little option here for inserting. And maybe what I should do is talk about that now since it's already expanded. So you have different options that you can do to each and every video in terms of how the video is displayed. If you've got, I guess, maybe an iPhone video that's in the old school box window 4:3 aspect ratio, you can change your aspect ratio. You could change the overall size of the video or pixels. You could have it start at a specific time if you wanted to. And your interactivity could also be changed so that if you didn't want discussions or anything like that, you can change this drop-down menu here. The autoplay button is nice so that students don't have to click the play button. You can turn that on or off just by checking the box. The enable watch in Panopto is the ability for students to watch the Panopto video in the Panopto website. You can also display the title if you want. The title shows up here, shows up at the top up there. And this is the logo button, the SCC logo button. And so you've got options there in terms of how you want your video to look to the students. I guess I'll point this out while I see it. That's the download button for your video as well. Students can see that and they can download the videos. And after you're done, you can click on Insert and Finish. And there I am talking about it. So this is sort of the default layout. See, by default, this video embedded options is not visible. You have to expand this little icon over here, this little drop down menu, and then you can see all those different options that I just talked about. And again, you'll click on Insert once you're done. Now my video's been inserted into my announcement. I can click on Save, and then I'll see my announcement listed there for my students to access. You can also accomplish that same thing by using the Panopto app. I'll sort of skip. We'll assume that I'm in the announcements, or it could be a page, or it could be, like I said earlier, any place that where you can see that rich text editor, you have the ability to add videos directly. So in this particular case, instead of using the Capture app, we're going to use the application that gets installed on your computer. I've clicked on the download button that was highlighted in the previous slide, and say I want to install this on a home computer, and I would want to know which button to choose because there's quite a few to choose. The right button is this one if you are on a 64-bit machine. If you still have a 32-bit machine, you're going to want to choose that one. And of course our Mac users are down here. So it's this Panopto one right here. I will point out that after it gets installed and you go to launch the application again, I was prompted to start the recorder. I got a pop-up window that showed up, and I just wanted to point that out. If you don't want to keep seeing that all the time, you can just click the little checkbox there where it says always allow southeast blah blah blah, and then click open. And then you shouldn't see that prompt anymore after that. After you've installed the application and you've clicked on the button, you'll be taken to the application itself. It has three main tabs. So we'll start from the top to the bottom here. We've got three main tabs. This is the first tab that you'll basically be creating content from on a regular basis. The second tab is where you can manage previously recorded videos that have been already uploaded to the cloud, or perhaps you were offline and your videos were waiting to be uploaded to the cloud the next time you got around to being on the internet or Wi-Fi or something. And then the third tab would be for your settings within the application. Directly below that is your folder section, similar to the Panopto Capture app. You have folder choices, and you can choose between those choices on the right hand side with this drop down menu. You can give it a name. This is the naming section. Again, it's going to do a timestamp. If you don't want to use the timestamp, then you can rename it. You can also rename it at a later date if you want. Over here in the primary sources box is usually where your webcam shows up. So you'll have your video, there. And if you have multiple cameras, you might be able to select which camera you want to look at from this drop-down menu here. Same thing with your audio sources. This is the drop-down menu option. You can change the resolution quality by also clicking on the drop-down menu. I think it's something like normal, web, and ultra, something like that. I can't remember. I should have it expanded, but nonetheless, you have different options of resolution. Below that is your secondary video, and I'll explain that quickly. When you make a recording, whether it's in Panopto Capture or Panopto the application, you can record multiple video sources simultaneously. So in this example, we would, since we've got all these checkboxes over here, we would be recording the PowerPoint. We would be recording a monitor and whatever is being displayed on that monitor, and then a second monitor and whatever is being displayed on that monitor. So assuming we've got 3 monitors and the PowerPoint's on the 3rd monitor, then we could have the talking head being one source and 1, 2, 3 other sources over here. So with a total of 4 sources that people can choose when they are watching the video. You also have resolutions down here at the bottom for how you want to capture your screen. Different resolutions and different frame rates. The lower the frame rate, the choppier the video will be. It will also take up less take up less time to create, I guess is a way of putting it. And the same thing with your kilobits. This is sort of like your resolution and how clear it's going to look. In this particular example, I've got everything maxed out. So 30 frames per second is the total. We got 2,500 bits with a high resolution of 1920 by 1080. That's pretty much a standard monitor at this point. And when you are all ready to go, you would click the record button. Once you're done recording, you have this little pop-up window that shows up. And again, here's another place where you can name it something different. You can also add a description in here if you want, and it's going to tell you where it's being placed. Once you're done, you can click on the Done button. Here's a screenshot of the Manage Recordings tab. I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when, say for example, you were to create a video but you weren't connected to the internet. That video would be stored locally, and then later on, once you know that you're connected to the internet, you can upload the video to the server. Otherwise, videos that have been uploaded to the server will show up under the Uploaded Recordings option. You can look at the video by clicking on the Edit button or the Share button or the View button. The Edit button takes you to the ability to edit. You can trim or clip the video. Share button is the same thing that we mentioned earlier within the Panopto Capture option, where you can share the video directly via email. And then again, you can also view the video directly that way. Another way to add content in Panopto would be choosing the Panopto video option located in your navigation bar. To create a video from Panopto Video, what you'll do is click on the Create button, and then you get a little pop-up window. And I should point out that since I have elevated rights, it's more than likely that I have different choices than you do. I'm assuming you guys don't see schedule recording, but I bet you see all the other choices. So similar to what we talked about earlier with the 3 ways of adding content directly from the plugin, those 3 options are available by clicking on the Create button. So there's your application, that's Panopto for Windows. There's the browser right there, Panopto Capture. And then there's the upload media option. We'll say that's the one if you wanted to use the one button studio and upload a video that way. I think you guys can create playlists. I'm going to check on that. I'm going to assume this is available to you. What you would do in that particular case, if say for example you've got a series of videos that are in a related subject matter, you might want to link them together in a manner called a playlist, and that those similarly related subject videos are all visible to the student in a playlist. The last option is your new folder option. So if you did want to place videos in other folders and create folders, you can do that by clicking on the new folder. So that's where you'd click on create, and then you can choose all these different options. Here's a closer version. I just wasn't quite sure if you guys could see that or not, so I took a bigger screenshot of it. Again, this is the application. They're in different orders from viewing it within the rich context editor and clicking on the plugins icon. So, but the options are still there. So the Windows option is one of the choices. The other choice is the Kaltura Capture option, and the upload media are the 3 choices in which you would create videos to get loaded into your Panopto video library. The Canvas orientation course has a newly built Panopto page in it that has some wonderful resources. Some of the things that we just covered today, plus a lot of additional information that we will be covering in future videos. Stay tuned, everybody. Enjoy Panopto.